Hello everybody, Logan here. Today we're talking about Victorum, and we're going to be talking about the overall turn structure, moving around this map here at the bottom and how that works, as well as the different types of encounters that you will encounter along the way. So we are playing as Krakenlance, and right now our location marker is right down here in the Lamotion region, and we're looking and trying to decide where we want to go next. Now, the node that we're on connects to three different types, as you can see here. We've got a path down here, we've got a path over here, and one over top, and they're all leading to different little icons. Each icon is going to mean something a little bit different. So let's start with this scary looking skull fellow over here. That is going to lead to your lethal deck. Now, the lethal deck sounds a little scary, and it absolutely is. So the lethal combat is going to be the simplest, but also the deadliest. It is a fight to the death on the arena wherever you are, and units that are lost in that combat are lost for good. So if you put out this defender, say, and he's defeated in combat, you don't get to return him to your camp at the end of combat, but instead, he's actually going back in the chip bag and is lost for good. Lethal events are some of the more difficult. They have very punishing results, but the upside of them is when you complete a lethal event, you get to upgrade your hero. You can increase their health, you can increase their leadership, or you can increase their attack. Next, we're going to look at this little node down here. That is going to take us to the sporting events. Sporting events are a little bit gentler than lethal events. Units who are defeated in sporting events will return to your camp afterwards, and you will be able to use them in future events. But the rewards are perhaps not quite as enticing as lethal events. When you beat a sport event, you have the option of recruiting a gladiator that you faced in that event, or you can also gain a tactic. So as you increase your leadership, you want to take sport events to fill out your ranks. Or after a particularly punishing lethal event, you're going to want to take some sports to make sure that your army is not too depleted to complete your act. Over here, you'll see the Opportunities deck. The Opportunities deck is a little bit different from the other two. It doesn't involve combat. What it actually is a series of almost side quests. When you go to this event, you take the top card of the deck, and it's going to set some parameters for you. So in this case, it says to win a King of the Hill event by achieving 12 points instead of the normal 6. So basically, win a King of the Hill battle, but take twice as long to do it. So it's kind of a heroic feat. You're going to take this card, and however many you collect along the way, as you can have multiple opportunities going at once, and place them down here. Those are going to live there until you complete them. When you complete them, you get a special reward. Those special rewards can be different things. They can be removing a bane that's a thorn in your side, so you may be able to go in here and get a bane that's been bothering you, get it out of the game. It can be a hero prowess. This is how you unlock your hero's special skills. And there may be some other options that I don't want to talk about just yet. There are two more types of nodes that I want to talk about that don't tie to specific decks. So if you look here, 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 every region has what is called a Primus location. If you started the game in that region, that is where you're going to begin. If you're headed to a region to fight an enemy Primus, that's where you need to go. There's no deck associated with it, but that's going to be one of your mini boss fights / act breaks. The other type of node that I want to talk about is the harbors, and you'll see these represented by these little boats here right now. The harbors let you move around the map a little more quickly. For example, if you're over here in Kunlun and you desperately want to get to the Lamotion region, but you don't want to spend week after week after week crossing, because you may not even make it inside of your act, what you can do is you can take a few weeks, head to a harbor, and take that harbor all the way over here. Now, using a harbor doesn't give you anything. It doesn't give you an upgrade, it doesn't let you recruit, and it still takes a week off your journey, but it lets you traverse the map a little more freely and a little more quickly. At any of the first three nodes, you have a choice in front of you. So say we move to a lethal location and we draw the top card of the deck. Now, all of these decks are face up. There's no surprise. I know what my next event is going to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be friendly or it's going to be nice. So at this point, I've taken this card, and now I have a choice in front of me. I have to decide if I want to accept this event, in which case I'm going to take this combat, I'm going to play it, And it could go well, it could go poorly, or I have the alternate option of spectating. Spectating means I don't have to fight this event. It also means I get to heal my hero. I take a day off, I'm resting, and if I've been depleted a little bit, through the previous combats, I can get that health back and go into my next event rested and strong. It does not take a week to spectate, but it does increase your Scion influence. So if I spectate this event, I would tick another box on the Scion influence tracker and be that much closer to my next Bane chip being added to the game. So you don't want to spectate too much, or the game is going to scale up and become too hard. Additionally, if you choose to spectate, this card can be placed either on the bottom of the deck, or you can simply push it back one card if you want to face that event in just a little while. If you're not quite ready for it, but you really do want to take that event, you don't have to put it on the bottom. You can push it off for just a little bit longer. If you accept the event, as stated, you will take that combat, but you are not forced to complete that combat. In Victorum, you're only as good as your hero. If your hero is ever reduced to no hit points, they're defeated and you lose the game. So, you never want to push yourself too far. That's why sometimes the correct decision is to spectate. But other times, you may think you can beat this event and accept it, and then find out partway through, it's not going so well, I'm going to lose. At which point, you can choose to forfeit. Now, forfeiting event is probably the worst thing you can do for your progress in the game. You never want to accept an event thinking that you're going to forfeit. You've already taken a week to accept the event, so you've lost time. Forfeiting means you're also losing Scion influence, plus you don't get the healing benefit of having spectated that event. So forfeiting an event that you've accepted is really a last resort to keep from losing the game when the event isn't going your way. In this fashion, moving from node to node, you're going to make your way across the map in different directions. As we covered in the previous video, you have certain Primuses that you're trying to target. So you're heading to those regions, trying to defeat those Primuses in glorious combat. If you make it there and defeat that Primus, that is going to end the act, and you can either play on through the next act or save the game and come back again. But ultimately, each turn and each act is made up of one node after the other, taking combats and opportunities, and hopefully making your way to Vesuvius to defeat the Scions themselves.